All right, network administrators, welcome. This is your essential briefing on a brand new way to think about blockchain defense. If you're on the hook for network integrity, pay close attention, because we're about to cover an intelligent defense system that adapts just as fast as the threats you're facing every single day.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to shine a light on the hidden threats that your current systems are probably blind to. Then, we'll introduce the adaptive, ML-driven defense built to take them on. After that, we'll look at the hard numbers, the performance metrics, and see how this whole thing automates a response in real time. And finally, we'll talk about what this means for the future of network resilience.
So, let's just kick things off with the one question every single administrator needs to be asking themselves. Are your defenses actually prepared for attacks that don't break the rules, but instead twist them and exploit them?
Yeah, we're talking about side-channel attacks. Now, unlike those brute force methods that just hammer away at your front door, these are subtle, real subtle. Think of an adversary just analyzing the timing of your network packets, or maybe even listening to the electronic hum of your validator nodes to figure out what's happening inside. They don't need to break in when they can just exploit your network's normal behavior to wreck consensus. And this, right here, exposes the core problem. Our traditional defenses, they're static. They operate on a fixed, predictable set of rules. And frankly, they're fighting a losing battle against these new dynamic threats. I'm talking about things like Eclipse attacks, which quietly isolate your nodes to split your network, or burst pattern attacks, which use these sudden spikes in traffic to hide what they're really doing. These threats are designed to be unpredictable, and a static rulebook, well, it just can't keep up.
So how in the world do you fight an enemy that is constantly changing its tactics? Well, you deploy a defense that learns, that adapts, and that responds in real time. Let's move on to the framework that's designed to do exactly that.
And take a look at this. This diagram perfectly illustrates the entire workflow. What you're seeing here is the whole pipeline, end to end, showing the flow from raw network traffic all the way to a decisive defensive action. This is literally how we train an intelligent defense system, by teaching it to recognize and react to real-world attacks in a safe environment, long before they ever hit your live network.
So let's break that diagram down real quick. Stage 1, we simulate your network's normal everyday behavior. In Stage 2, that's when we inject the bad stuff, the Eclipse attacks, the timing leaks. Stage 3 is absolutely critical. This is where we extract those subtle digital fingerprints that tell us an attack is happening. Then we use all that data to train the machine learning models in Stage 4, before finally, in Stage 5, we validate its performance in the real world.
So what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's a hybrid CNN-LSTM model. You see, the CNN part is brilliant at recognizing spatial patterns, like how different traffic metrics look when they're all correlated during an attack. The LSTM part, on the other hand, understands the sequence of events over time. You put them together, and you get this unique ability to spot these complex multi-stage threats that most other systems would completely miss.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in a lab, but does this approach actually hold up under pressure? It's time for the proof. Let's look at the numbers.
And whoa, just look at this table. The contrast in performance is stark. It's night and day. Check out the advanced detection rates on the right. We are seeing a nearly 20-point jump in effectiveness across the board. This isn't some minor tweak. This is a fundamental leap forward in what's possible for threat detection.
And let's just zoom in on this one for a second. A 91.9% detection rate against sophisticated Eclipse attacks. Remember, these are the attacks specifically designed to undermine consensus by cutting off parts of your network. And this model finds them with incredible accuracy, while traditional methods are often just flying blind.
If you're a visual person, this graph tells the whole story. That red line, that's our advanced model. It achieves higher accuracy, way faster, and with a much lower error rate. What that means for you is that the model learns more efficiently and it becomes a far more reliable defender for your network from day one.
But look, spotting a threat is one thing. Actually stopping it in its tracks, that's the other half of the battle. So let's see how this system closes the loop, going from detection to automated mitigation, all in real time.
This is all handled by something called the Defense Orchestration Module, or DOM. Now, think of the DOM as the system's tactical commander. It takes the intelligence from the ML model, that anomaly score, and it immediately translates it into concrete defensive actions on your network.
So here's how that adaptive feedback loop actually works. First, the model detects an anomaly and spits out a score. Second, the DOM assigns a threat level, anything from benign to high risk.
Third, it deploys a countermeasure that is perfectly scaled to that threat. So for a low-risk event, that might just mean applying some lightweight traffic jittering to disrupt patterns. But for a severe threat, it's going to escalate to amplify data masking to protect network integrity. The response is always proportional, which maximizes your protection while keeping operational overhead to a minimum.
And of course, the next question is always about resources. Is this thing going to bog down my validators? Well, crucially, this system is built for efficiency. Prediction time is under half a second, which makes it perfect for real-time deployment without creating a performance bottleneck. The models are lightweight with minimal computational overhead. This all adds up to a very high return on investment. You get state-of-the-art security that won't compromise your high-throughput environment.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? What's the bottom line? It's about a fundamental shift in our security posture. We have to move from static defense to dynamic resilience. You know, this quote from the research paper just nails it. We have to get away from building these static, predictable walls. We need to start deploying an intelligent defense that acts more like a network immune system, one that learns, adapts, and evolves right alongside the threats it's facing. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In a threat landscape that changes by the minute, a static defense is no longer a defense. It's a vulnerability. The question you really need to ask yourself is, are your defenses evolving?